Winter has come early. In this bonus episode, we're trying to guess the Rotten Tomatoes rankings of some winter classics, dive into another round of employee picks, and figure out our favorite comedy tropes. Let's bundle up and dive in. This week on the No More Late Fees podcast, we are joined by our amazing pal and returning guest, Ron. Welcome.
What's up?
Ron's back.
Yay.
And the world is ending. Again.
It was just Hollywood. And now it's the entire,
Everything's on fire. But if you guys are new to this, or you're like, I think I remember Ron, if you checked out our BASEketball episode, and he's also our favorite person ever. her other half.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Gwen.
I was just
Gwen's
like, I'm your
half.
favorite person. Of course it's not me. Of course it's Gwen.
Second
I'm like,
favorite
I'm your
person.
favorite?
Honestly, Ron, look.
Yeah.
You know what? It
get
just
it.
happens that we met her first.
Yeah.
Listen, I get it.
She
Most
imprinted on
people
us
feel the
immediately,
same
like
way.
Jacob and Twilight.
We are not Renesmee.
We're Renesmee. I'm the Renee. You're the Esme.
Oh, goodness.
Anyway,
I don't want to
Ron.
be a CGI baby.
Oh.
Did you
Pull
unplug
the
yourself?
plug. This is
Had
a
enough of
great
this.
start. Ron,
Yeah.
how are things been going? How has the ADHD coaching been going?
Good. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I just started a nonprofit. So we just got our
Ooh.
501c3 a couple weeks ago. It's called the Monoceros Initiative. And our goal is to widen access and representation in the ADHD community. And a big focus of ours is to kind of uplift and help out the educators and coaches and content creators and people that really are kind of like on the front lines doing a ton of work trying to get the help out there and be advocates, and really are just kind of not helped at all themselves. A lot of them are solopreneurs trying to do this as their job, and it just doesn't work out super well. But we try to uplift them, and yeah, it's been going really good. We had a virtual conference last week. We do collaboration events. We're doing a collaboration cruise for ADHD professionals next year. So yeah.
Awesome. I am down to help you guys with that initiative,
Sweet.
because both my siblings, they both have ADHD in different formats. Like my sister's is on the slower end and my brother's is on the faster end. I'm not sure if that like is the proper terminology, but
it's good. Honestly, I actually didn't mind that one.
Oh, okay.
There's people that are just that will say things like, oh, theirs isn't as bad, and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
that's not really a thing.
It's just different.
It's just how you
Yeah.
present. So it's like the hyperactivity and attentiveness. Like example, Gwen and I both have ADHD, but we have very different types of ADHD.
Right. And it presents
yeah.
differently in women,
Yeah.
right?
Mostly, I would say there's a lot of men that it presents similarly with that as women, but I would say the majority, yes, that it's more inattentive for women, and it tends to go unnoticed that way because it's really, like I said, it's how it presents, how you kind of are interacting with the world around you. And it's really a disorder of, you know, parents and teachers and partners, and now, you know, as people get older, partners and your employers and people in your lives who are really annoyed with how things are going with you. And that's when it turns in, when people start to realize that they have it. And the idea behind it is just like a different way that your brain works. So there are benefits to it. Your brain can come up with some unique things. There tends to be more creativity, but ultimately the way society's set up, it makes it a disorder because it makes it really difficult to function the way people expect you to.
Yeah, I love, I may be wrong with this, but I love to tell my brother and sister that in a way it's kind of like a gift, because I believe people with ADHD come into this world to challenge the status quo and to think outside of the box of how everyone else is thinking. And it's always hard to be outside of outside of the box, but usually those are the people that we look at that change things,
Mhm.
because they're seeing from a different perspective, a different lens. And I always appreciate that
Yeah,
aspect.
it's something that I think it's important for ADHDers to recognize their strengths and recognize what they bring to the table. It can get a little complicated when we talk about it as a gift, or a lot of people like to call it a superpower.
Well,
Um,
no, because then you're stressing yourself out.
there's this
Yeah.
idea that it's kind of like going into the vein of like toxic positivity and ableism when you start to, but at the same time, it's really, as long as you're not discounting the struggles that people go through. Because what tends to happen is when someone is saying, oh, I just can't do this, or I'm struggling with this, the response to it ends up being, don't look at it that way, look at it as a gift. And that's
Yeah.
when it's a problem. But 100% there are a lot of benefits to it. It's just, when we look at things, you're much more likely to get fired from your job. You're much more likely to be incarcerated. You're much more likely to get a divorce. You're much more likely to die earlier. You're much more like there's so many things where too often I think people start saying like, oh, don't look at it as a disorder or a disability. Like, and
Right.
you're like, oh, well, screw you. Like
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And sure, I mean, I'm the first to say too, there tends to be a lot of privilege with it too. As a white dude, I got away with having ADHD most of my life.
Yeah.
And I still struggled in a lot of areas, and I still lost jobs, and I still had to talk my way out of things. And that ended up being what my quote unquote superpower was, where people were like, oh wow, Ron can talk his way out of getting fired or figure that. And it's because of necessity. I had to learn to do
Right.
that from a young age. When I was in trouble and I didn't know why, or I forgot my homework, or I forgot to this, I had to start having different coping mechanisms. And
Yeah.
again, there's benefits to being able to do that, and I'm thankful for them. And at the same time, I know there's a lot of people that just don't get those opportunities and chances that I got, or aren't as outgoing and willing to be extroverted. And so it really depends. The idea is kind of what you're saying though. Everybody in the world has a different way of thinking. And utilizing that's really important. So part of what I do as an advocate is try to encourage businesses and people in relationships to recognize the benefits of having someone that has ADHD that you're working with or that you're in a relationship with, and understand that like, hey, you have to come at things a little bit differently. So it's not just helping someone with ADHD be a better partner, but it's also helping the partner say like, well, what are some things you can do
Right.
to kind of understand like, hey, I know my partner struggles with this. I'm not going to have the same expectations of them that I would somebody else. It doesn't mean I'm going to let them
Right.
be a shitty partner, but
Right.
I'm going to allow them some grace and meet them where they're at and be like, okay, if you're at a 2, I'm not holding expectations at a 10. Let's get to a 3, let's get to a 4. And you may never be a 9 or a 10 at this area, but like growth is important. And what are some things you can do to make up for that? And we do a lot of that in coaching, where we say like, how can we lean on our strengths to kind of make up for the areas that we struggle with?
I like that you said meet people where they're at. I think, being in a relationship, being a loved one with someone who has ADHD, there is a lot of work on your end that you have to do. If you love this person and you're dedicated to being a part of their life and helping them, you have to read stuff. You have to understand why and where things are coming from, as well as listen to their perspective. Because I think, especially from a parenting side, every parent kind of has this narrative in their head about what they envision their kids to be.
Yeah.
And there is like a bit of grief when the child obviously turns out completely different than that. And, some people can control that a little bit better than others. But I think acceptance is a huge part of it. A lot of parents are not good with the diagnosis, especially if the child is able to get diagnosed early in their life. So there's a lot of barriers to that because you're already fighting the ADHD itself because you're learning that it's not what other people are going through. And then now you have to fight people in your life who are not understanding, like you said. And so then there's like, hopefully there's an acceptance standpoint. You know, there's some parents who just never get there, unfortunately. But if you have children who are diagnosed and you have the ability to learn and figure out how to be with them on this journey, I highly recommend that you educate yourself as much as possible.
My
So that,
husband, Ken, struggles with that with his mom because she's like, labels, blah, blah, blah. And he's never been formally diagnosed, but like to meet Ken is to, like, I call him if you give a mouse a cookie. It's just like, oh, this task needs to be done, but I need this. Oh, this needs to be clean. Like he just is a little Tasmanian devil. Like he'll eventually get back to the first task after he does a million side quests. And working with special needs kids, like everyone needs different tools in their toolboxes. And so regardless if you even have a diagnosis, what works for you is what works for you. And as much as he tries to explain, like, he can't do things digitally. He has object permanence. If it's in his phone, it doesn't exist. So we use paper calendars. And he doesn't do lists. And his parents are like, just make a list and then you can cross things out. And he's like, he has said for 40 plus years, lists don't work for me. And so like just coming up with different strategies. Right now we're trying something where I just write tasks that need to be done around the house on Post-its and I just post them like on our pantry door. For me, it's really satisfying tearing off Post-it, like, because I'm done with that task. And so, but then it's something he can just, every time he walks by the pantry, it's there as a reminder. And he has time blindness. So we've worked out in our relationship, like if he has to be somewhere and he's outside working, I call him 2 hours before. You have 2 hours. Call him an hour before, call him 30 minutes before. And like, for me, it's no big deal. I'm just sitting in the house doing whatever. But then he's like, okay, now I know I need to get in the house and get changed or whatever. So it's just that acceptance and being willing to work with the tools that work for the individual are like huge. And when you don't
100%.
have that acceptance, it's so hard.
Yeah.
And there's so much shame that ties with it too.
Yes.
You know, when even kids that I've worked with whose parents are fantastic and accepting and wanting to learn, there's still so much shame and so many little bits of rejection that happen throughout a child's day and even as an adult. And whether it's teachers or friends or whoever, and you don't realize it, but it ends up being like, you know, the amount of times I heard like, oh, of course Ron's a little late, or of course this, and like, let me guess, Ron, you did, and that kind of stuff builds up.
Yeah.
And it would happen daily, right? And more than once. And, you know, throughout your whole life, you just start to take that on. And the thing about labels, and I especially tell this to adults who like, well, why do I want to get diagnosed? And the thing that I've learned the most about my journey, especially over the last 4 years, is the more I learn about myself, the better I am at figuring out how I work in the world. I consider myself like I tell everyone, like, you're a computer and your computer works differently than everyone else's, and you don't have the instruction manual. So figure out the instruction manual. Like what gets you going. It might not always work, but I've got a list of things, and it's not a list because I hate lists too. But I've got like a thing, like a toolbox, like or a lunchbox of things in my head that, like, oh, if I need to get started on something, let's try this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
And well, let's try this. Let's try this. Like, oh, this isn't working. I do this. I'm really struggling to, you know, finish. Why is it that have I not taken any breaks? Have I drank water today? Have I forgotten to do this? Like, and it's exhausting and it's not perfect. And it's such an up and down thing, right? You always hear like progress isn't linear. It's especially not linear for someone with ADHD. But when I'm able to say, to Gwen, I'm really struggling with this, and it's not met with shame or, you know, guilt or them being pissed or whatever. Like, I'm better equipped to move forward because I'm like, okay, but I'm gonna do this now. And they'll be
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. And you know, especially with kids, we always say like they want to do well if they can. And so if they can't, there's usually something up. And it's okay to meet them where they're at, figure out what it is, and move forward. A lot of times too with ADHDers, and I think this is the hardest thing for parents to realize, is it's an uneven brain development. So when they're younger, they they tip, like, a lot of times you see these kids in advanced classes or in gifted classes, or people just be like, wow, they're talking earlier, or they're so good at this, or this is incredible, they're gifted, right? And so they get put in all gifted and advanced classes. And at first, it's probably easy to handle, but as they get older, they're overwhelmed and they can't anymore. And now it's like, well, this is a you problem. When it's like, no, they're just not caught up in a lot of executive functioning areas. And now it's, I mean, I was told forever that I have all the potential in the world and I'm supposed to do this and I'm supposed to do that. And when I struggle to be able to plan my day and succeed at all the tasks I want to accomplish just in one day, it makes it really hard to reach any potential people thought I had. And so there's just a shit ton of shame with that too.
It's I feel for you, Ron, because that's, I can't even imagine. That's difficult. But I'm glad that I'm learning more about it, because I definitely have more empathy for both of my siblings. But it also helps when I'm like, okay, now you're bullshitting me, because they're both extremely smart and manipulative in different ways. And I can be like, I'm calling you on that one.
And there's a difference between enabling and, you know, accepting and being understanding with stuff. And that's always the thing too. There's definitely the parent or the partner that is just so enabling, and it's such a black and white thing, right? Where it's like, either if I'm working with like a couple and, you know, it's either, well, this person needs to meet my standards, or the one person's like, I shouldn't have to grow because I have ADHD and this is just who I am. And both of those are wrong. Right? Like there's this black and white thinking. And I always look at all of this, whether it's a parent child, a teacher and a child, employer and you know, the employee, or two partners. It's in relationships, if one person has ADHD and the other doesn't, both people need to move closer together, right? So the expectations need to be lowered a little bit, and the person does need to grow and try to reach some expectation. It might be small, but like, we need to experience growth. It can't just be accept me for who I am, I'm not going to change. And it can't just be what I want you to be, or else you're fired, or whatever, or else it's not going to work. So
preach. And the sad thing is that you just describe relationships with or without ADHD, because
totally we're all like, right? Expectations, I think, in the world are so everything, right? But friendship, or like romantic relationships, parent-child relationships, like it's what you expect of somebody matters so much. And sometimes you don't even realize it, but that's where communication comes in. And if the relationship is important to you, you need to find a way to meet in the middle. So
unless it's time to go,
unless it's like deuces,
then it's, you know, sometimes you look at the relationship and you're like, okay, I've given this all I can, but
and that's a success too. I was talking to somebody who realized that recently, and I'm like, that's a celebrate. That's something to say, like, oh, I've successfully ended this relationship. We think of things like that as a failure, but it's like, no, that's a success.
All right, Jackie, I came up with a new game. It's called Throwing Tomatoes.
That was me throwing tomatoes.
So I pulled a list of all of these snow movies, since we did Out Cold, and everybody has to try to rank these movies in order of like who got the best Rotten Tomato score. I didn't look, so I'm gonna try to do mine first, so that I can go look and see if I'm right, because I want to play.
Is this critic or audience?
Critic.
Okay.
Yeah, because the audience cannot be trusted.
Sometimes I listened to this one podcast on TikTok that they posted where they did stuff similar, but they like added stuff up, and sometimes it's like the audience is right and the critics, you're like, what the fuck?
Okay, so we're going 1 is the highest score, 8 is the lowest score. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I guess let's just tally our points. How many we get correct.
All right.
I think will be the easiest way. I love when we figure out how to play games while we're playing.
I know. Ron, what was your number 1?
The Polar Express, Ice Age, The Day After Tomorrow, 8 Below, Snow Dogs, Snow Day, Out Cold, Ice Princess.
I am going to just go in the order of how I had them. So I'm going to look up Out Cold first.
Like Out Cold's going to be low.
I agree.
Jackie did. Oh, shit.
But I think the audience will be somewhat high. I feel like people liked that movie.
The tomato meter, 8%. The popcorn meter, 84%.
Okay. Yeah, so, that's a huge gap.
That's a huge.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, the next. So when I say them, can you tell me the next movie? So
Snow Day.
Ooh, my favorite. Oh shit.
No, I usually edit this out.
Okay.
Oh shit. 30%.
Oh.
30%.
All right. So far, I'm correct.
Snow Dogs.
Boy.
The other one was 30%?
Yeah. Snow Dogs, 26%.
Oof.
Damn it. I switched it.
I was just, that's so close.
I switched it. All right. What's the next one?
Ice Princess.
All right. Ooh, 52%.
Damn.
And the popcorn meter was 58%, so not too far off.
So I should watch this movie.
It's something. It's something. All right, what's the next one?
Ice Age.
I hope that it's high, considering I got a million different.
It's gotta be high.
77%. Next one.
8 Below.
Walker. 73%. Now what?
Below that?
73%. I did not see that coming. Did not see that coming.
Day After Tomorrow.
45%.
Wow. Shocker.
Shocked. And was that the last one?
And Polar Express.
Oh.
This one's gotta win, right?
I don't know. I was real shocked by Day After Tomorrow. 56%.
Oh, damn.
Damn.
Well, I got 0.
Oh, no.
All right.
Okay, so the rankings. Number 1 is Ice Age with 77%. Number 2 is 8 Below with 73%. Number 3 is Polar Express with 56%.
Yes, I got one right.
Number 4 is Ice Princess with 52%.
Got that.
Number 5 is The Day After Tomorrow with 45%.
Really fucked me up.
Number 6 is Snow Day with 30%. 7, Snow Dogs with 26%. And Out Cold, bringing up the rear in 8th place with 8%.
Wild. I love how the audience score that one. It's like 90, and it's like
I got 4 right.
Look at you. I don't think I got any, but oh no, I know I got Out Cold because I knew it was extremely low. Because it shows up on listicles sometimes.
Yeah, I got Ice Age, the Polar Express, Ice Princess, and wait, which one did I?
Wait, which one was Snow Day? Which one was higher, Snow Day or Snow Dogs?
Snow Day.
I got Ice
right.
Age.
So Ron and I tied.
Because I got Snow Day 6th, I think.
Okay, yeah. So I got Ice Age, Polar Express, Ice Princess, and Snow Dog Ride.
Look at you hanging out on Rotten Tomatoes for some reason.
All right. What's the question of the day?
What is your favorite sports comedy trope? Oh, I have to think about this. I don't fancy myself.
I know, us with sports comedy. I think my favorite is like randomly somebody from the team like gets hurt or something, and then someone else has to step up.
Yeah.
Like always like the best person, the best player. And I'm like, God damn it. I find that interesting. I love that in Mighty Ducks. That gets me every time. Not Banks. What are we gonna do without Banks?
That's really funny.
I do like a montage of them just having fun playing the game where it's not that serious.
Yeah. And we love a sports montage.
I love it. Like the Sandlot, you know, we get
BASEketball.
Out Cold, we don't get a montage, but we get the King of the Mountain scene, which is very similar.
We get some snowboarding montage.
We do, but none of that is them. Very obviously, none of that is them.
I don't know. They did show how, what's his name? Rick at the end, like in the bloopers that they show at the end, that he is snowboarding.
All right, Ron, do you have a trope that?
Yeah. In all the sports comedies that I can think of, there is always someone that is not good at the sport.
True.
Even in like, I think of like movies where it's like professional teams. There's always someone that has no business being a professional on it. Like in Mighty Ducks, there's people that can't fucking skate.
Yeah.
Right?
Or Anthony in this movie.
Anthony is just like the fact that they mentioned too that like he had lost King of the Mountain like 3 years in a row, and he works at a resort.
Yeah.
And he can't snowboard is like fucked up. It's really fucked up. But
very classic.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now it is time for you to become an honorary Blockbuster employee again. Last time, your 3 picks were National Treasure, The Incredibles, and a Goofy movie. So we invite you to choose 3 more movies from 95 to 2005 that you would recommend as an employee.
3 different movies?
Yes.
He's like, run it again.
Yeah, I'm just like, I feel like it was Mallrats during that time.
Yes.
I would say Mallrats for sure. I might just rattle off some Kevin Smith movies because that was a good time for those. There's Mallrats, and I recently watched this the other day, and it's a movie that when it pops on, I feel like it was around this time, 10 Things I Hate About You.
Absolutely.
90.
It was on the other day, and it's definitely one of those movies where I just like watched it and then like watched 90% of it because I'm like, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is great.
We did it with Gwen, but it was a lost episode.
Yeah, we don't know if we didn't record it or if it got deleted.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like I watch that movie once a year.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're kind of going sports. Was the Benchwarmers during this time?
I think so.
It was.
If not, it was 2006, which is not that big of a deal. But I think
I recently saw somebody write about that movie somewhere, and it's stupid and enjoyable. So yeah.
Love it.
Well, if you love our picks, if you have questions, if you want to give us feedback, make sure to hit us up at No More Late Fees on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Threads. And if you want to follow Ron, please tell everybody where the people can find you on social.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at ADHD_Ron. And really just like everything connects to there. But on TikTok, I'm ADHD Coach Ron. And you can also go to my website, ADHDCoachRon.com.
Definitely check him out. Very useful tips. And if you like markers on a mirror, he's your guy.
Danielle lives for those.
I love them. Join us in 2 weeks as we get romantic with Amelie. I am so excited. I
know
love this movie.
you've been waiting a long time.
A long time. And I really hope, I haven't seen it in a while. So I'm like, oh gosh, I hope it still gives me all the feels.
And as always, be kind and rewind.